Welcome to the Real Life Trading Morning Floor, where we do some day trading here. Our mission is to enrich lives. Today is January 20th. I am Brad Reed. I'm a real life trader, and I'm here reminding you to be good. And by good, I mean get out of debt, achieve your financial dreams, and give generously to your community. I have the blessing of being joined by my dad, Ed Reed, down in Austin, Texas. What's going on, Dad?
Good morning, Brad. Good morning, real life traders everywhere. Here we go, another day to be a real life trader. Looks like Yahoo Finance has the futures, Dow futures down 300. Scary stuff, but we'll see.
It will be a crazy ride today for sure. Good morning, Eric, Maria, Michelle, Jason, Dan, Bill. Who else is on? We got a couple of folks here early in the morning. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks, Nathan. Nolan called out a trade yesterday that made a whole bunch of people a whole bunch of money. Good morning, Paul. And anybody, if I missed your name, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. First of all, let's look at the market, and we'll talk about the report that my dad just mentioned. The market is down. Currently, it's expected to open at 184.97. The low of 2 trading days ago, what was this? Friday, the January 15th, it was 185.52. So the fact that we are gapping below that is extremely bearish. We are now going to be convincingly below this support here that I've drawn with this light blue line at 186.92. So I do think that we head down into the 181.92 area, which is drawn at the bottom of this. No, it's not. What is low over here? 182.40. So let me move this up a skidgen. 182.40. So I think we have a great chance of making it down there today. Before we go on, type in a 3 if you're up pretty big for the month. Type in a 3 if you're trading based on what your criteria for successful trading is. Are you up pretty big for the month? I know I'm not the only one. Jason's up pretty big. I know a few others are. If I switch over here to the Real Life Trading Trade Journal, we're up 13R. So that would be 26% of your portfolio if you're risking 2% per trade. And I imagine there's a few others that are up pretty big. That being said, it is a good time to protect yourself, because if I come over here to our day trade results from last year, there were a couple of months in here where we were up. There's 10R, 20R in July, 20R in August, 15R in September, and then the market changed. But we kept trading. We ended up down an R in October. So my point is, if you're up big, it's really time to go into defense mode and to protect what you have gained. If you do see an absolutely awesome opportunity, take it, but manage your risk appropriately. And I guess that goes for whether you're up big or not. But the point is that if you have been taking a lot of trades this month, like I have, it's time to start protecting yourself. Now, the market is down. There's going to be a lot of craziness. We have broken through the support, so there's going to be a little bit of there's going to be a lot of emotions today. So I'm being very careful about the types of gaps that I'm going to trade. So since the market is gapping down to a very significant bearish level, I'm looking for gaps that are going up, or if it is a bearish gap, which most of these are going to be, I want the stock to have moved sideways lately. A lot of stocks have been just going bearish, 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 and it's gapping down again. Those I want to stay away from. So if we look at this one, FTNT, I'm probably not going to trade this one today because it really hasn't had a chance to breathe. Now this one is not as bad as some because it did touch the 10 moving average yesterday on the daily. But if I see a stock that's just been getting hammered, 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 hammered like this, and then is gapping down to there, there's a good chance that a lot of these bearish day traders may be buying to close. They're much more profitable than they thought, and as they buy to close, it'll send the stock back up. Now, another one I'm going to avoid is one like Fold, F-O-L-D. Fold right now is expected to open at $6.32, which is right about here. The reason I'm going to stay away from something like Fold is, man, the market's been insanely bearish, and this thing's gapping to support, and it's not even going to clear that support. So while a gap down from these last two candles is definitely bearish, there's some big time support right in through here, and it's gapping right to that. Some strong support there, some strong support there. So there's a ton of gaps, ton of opportunities out there. Let's find one that is perfect. Now, if I talk about things that I don't like, I should talk about things that I do like, correct? Let's take a look at Apple, one of my favorite bearish gaps today. The reason I like Apple so much is that it has been trading effectively sideways for about the last 6 or 7 trading days. I did have a bearish day yesterday. This thing has rested. It is gapping below the low of this consolidation period. Well, I say that. It was earlier. Now it's only gapping to 95.54, which is slightly above that pivot area. But if it does get down below that pivot area, I will be interested to trade Apple bearish. When I first looked at it, it was going to open about right in there, below the open of that candle. So because it was down there at least a little bit for the pre-market, it does increase the odds that it will roll down today. Dad, you know what? I don't remember. Typically, most of my dad says, was it starting in October last year when more trades were bearish than bullish? We generally trade bearish more than bullish, I think just about every month. And that's because when a stock goes, most people are bullish. And so if a stock does turn bearish, it generates a whole lot more fear and people are more likely to dump it. Also, when things go bearish, they go faster. So for a day trade, bearish tends to move more than a bullish gap does. You know the saying, the bull creeps up the stairs, but the bear jumps out the window. Let me go look at some of these other things that I thought were absolutely gorgeous before I started the webinar, and we'll see if they're still there. GNC gapping up despite everything else gapping down. And not only is it gapping up, but it is clearing these last 2 days, which had insane bearish volume. So while this thing's coming down here to this pivot where all of the support is, you know, it'd be a great place to buy. Well, people didn't buy there. In fact, they sold. So we have 2 days of traders that likely entered bearish on those 2 days. It's gapping up above those. And if I were in one of these, if I had gone bearish on either of these 2 days, my sell stop would probably be right there. And that's about where it's going to open. So there's a great chance that people's stop orders from these 2 days are going to get triggered as soon as the market opens. And that's going to drive this up. And as the market continues, there's 2 things that may happen. As it goes up, it's going to trigger more and more people's protective stops. And also, if the whole market is gapping down and this stock is gapping up, those folks that are desperate for something to buy may be jumping in on this, pushing it up even more. So I really do like GNC. I'm also going to, let's see, let me take a look at about 3 or 4 more, and then Dan is throwing out SAVE, S-A-V-E, and I did look at that. I don't remember what I thought about that this morning. But CREE, C-R-E-E, is a technology stock. It's gapping up to 25 now, which is a healthy amount above this consolidation period. Notice the ginormous volume yesterday. So everyone who entered bearish on this thing yesterday, which is probably a lot. And the reason I say that is that this thing has been bearish for some time. It is unlikely that yesterday was bullish traders selling to close. It is more likely bearish traders selling to enter. So the fact that it's gapping up means those folks are going to be trapped and should drive it upwards. So I'll be interested in trading both CREE and GNC very early in the morning. THS is another stock that I really like. And what I like about this one is, well, I liked it earlier. I liked it better earlier. Before it was gapping below the orange line. And while the market had a mild bullish day 2 days ago, this thing had an insane bullish day. And while the market had a crazy bearish day yesterday, this thing had a mild bearish day, and it was going to trap all of those traders. So we'll say where this thing's going to open. That still has 20 minutes before the market opens. But those are kind of my favorites. Let's go over Dan Walsh's suggestion we take a look at SAVE. And if you guys have any other gaps you want me to take a look at, go ahead and type in those tickers. I'd be happy to check those out. So SAVE is now gapping up to 39.50, which is exactly the high of yesterday. The high of 2 days ago was 39.92. Man, a lot of traders got embarrassed yesterday. Big candle here, but on mild volume. There's not really a lot of bulls in that could be selling to close. So yeah, Dan, I'm with you on this one. I would like it much better. I'm going to draw two lines. I'm going to draw a line here at 39.50, and that's going to be kind of my absolute requirement. 39.92 may be a significant level. If it gets above 39.92, I'll like it even more. But if I see the perfect entry at 39.50, I will take it. So right now I'm going to color it yellow. That's kind of my own personal code for a gap and go. Let's take a look and see what it did at the end of the day yesterday. And I say that TradingView is loading the data. Yesterday I went and I deleted all of the pictures, and I mean all of them. Only the SPY survived. So the fact that TradingView is now taking time to load data has me concerned because I took all of my pictures off. All right, well, can I add it to the list? No, I cannot. What happens if I switch it over to DOC? All right, so we'll take a look at DOC, then we'll come back to save. DOC's gapping up, had a nice little consolidation yesterday. The high over here is 1642, and this one is gapping to 1638. So not quite clearing the high of yesterday. This does look very Morningstar reversal-ish off of the 100 and 200 simple moving averages. I'm not, because the whole market is going to be going bearish today, I believe. And this thing is not having a strong enough gap to clear that pivot. We'll watch it and see what it does. I am going to draw a line at the top at 1665. I think that may be a strong target for us if this thing does move bullish today. But I can definitely add it to the list because, as I said before, if everything does go bearish and something does go bullish, it is more likely to it's likely to get attention, bullish attention. And it looks like Spirit Airlines is now going to work. We did have a lot of selling at the end of the day, which adds a little bit of fuel to the. So if this thing does indeed gap up, that means it's going to go a little bit faster. I don't think I'm going to mark this perfect gap and go. Technically, it kind of does meet the description. But if it were to open above 39.92, then I would be extremely, extremely aggressive. Michelle Duffy says DOC is gapping to 1555. And I had it somewhere. I had it 1638. Oh, it's at 1638. 1559. What was I thinking? Okay. So, thank you, Michelle. Evidently, my brain is not as more awake as I thought. Okay, so I am loving this one a whole lot more now. Because, yeah, the buyers from the last 2 days are definitely going to be trapped. Let me draw a line down here at 1565. And I'm going to make that one yellow. I'm going to bring this down to the bottom of that one, which is 1550. So maybe similar to 1550 to worry about. We do have the 100 simple moving average in here. I'm going to go ahead and just draw that line because if it wants to retest that, it'd be interesting to note if it is retesting right on that 100 simple. And I want to look at the last couple of minutes of yesterday. And there was just a little bit of selling, some consolidating. So not nearly as many people are trapped as if they were buying all the way up to the end of the day. So I will move this towards the top of my list. Let's see. Let's look for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll go back and start reviewing some of these, because right now I've got about 4 or 5 that I want to watch very carefully on a 1 minute. So I have to review those. DOC looks good. I added it to the list. Thank you, Michelle. Dan Walsh says Amazon is amazing, but just a bit into the range. Jeremy was excited about retesting. All right, let's go take a look. Amazon gapping down to 565.13. An interesting little gap right over here. Wow, look at that. This opened up there and got hammered all the way down, came back here, almost that same level. So I'm going to draw a line there at 579. And then I'm going to draw the bottom here at 565.30. And it looks like right now we're not exactly clearing that bottom one there, but the stock has definitely had time to rest, consolidate. So if it does move bearish, there's a great chance that this thing could make it all the way down to the 200 simple moving average, which I'm going to draw at, well, I'll put it at 524.85. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'll put it at 524.85 for now, but as soon as the market opens, that will move up. So I'll have to redraw that line, but that'll be close. Cool. Good morning, Ufreda. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Dan says that Amazon has come up a bit this morning. I've noticed that a lot of the stocks that I looked at before the webinar, the gaps are looking a lot nicer than they are right now. We have a pretty crazy long watch list, so let's just be picky and feel free to take some off the list because we have tons of things to choose from. Here's one I liked earlier: PTEN, Patterson Energy, gapping down to 12 even. Well, and before it was gapping down again. One thing I like about Patterson Energy is that we have had 2 days of resting. So those 2 bullish days and followed by a bearish day means it could have energy to go again, but right now it is not clearing that pivot. So we will see what it does when it opens. I also had Bank of America Corporation. This one is now going to open at 1383. So this one is still clearing the gap. I'm not as crazy about this one as some of the others, but even that bullish doji in there is, provided some sort of rest. This thing recently cleared this very strong pivot. So, yeah, it's not as extended as it could be. It is pretty extended, though. Jinko Solar Holdings, JKS, we were looking at trades on this one yesterday. Gapping down to only 1846 now, which is lower than the low of yesterday. But I think before I trade this thing bearish, I want it below 1796. Here is Apache Corporation, APA. When I looked at this one earlier, it was gapping, yeah, still is gapping below this pivot. So this one, kind of like Apple, has been going sideways nicely, right on that pivot. So the fact that it's gapping down below that is really, really strong. So I'm going to move that one up on the list. RRC Range Res Corporation, gapping on to 840, which is a nice strong gap, 10% gap. Again, this one has had time to consolidate, rest. It actually bounced off of that support that I have drawn at the light blue. Yesterday was the bearish entry candle. So yesterday was when it closed below 2079. So there may only be 1 day of bears in on this trade. Again, just meaning that it's got room to go. Lots of other traders could get in on this today. So I'm going to move that up again. And I'm going to say it one more time. I want to avoid the stocks that have been getting beaten up bearish for day after day after day after day. I think those may be tired. I think the bearish traders may be looking to buy to close for a profit. I'm looking for the stocks that have been either going sideways or a little bit bullish, so that anybody going in bearish is just now getting in. All right, so I have a pivot here on NVAX at 585. It is expected to open at 583. And this long lower wick down here goes to 498, meaning that we have a really long ways for this thing to go. So again, I'm going to move that one up on the list. And that is all of the ones that we have on the list. All right, my dad's commenting on Patterson Drilling, PTEN, saying that they are more into exploration and production. All right. So cool. It is 9:22. Michelle says, "What do you think of IBM?" I was there for about 3 years, 2.5 years, straight out of school. I enjoyed it very much. Learned a lot. Actually, I worked 4 summer jobs there through high school and college. So IBM's been very good to me. But as far as the stock goes, I do like this, like the gap. It did have a nice little consolidation period here. Only recently broke through it. I'm going to draw a line here at 131.10. Wow, a lot of volume on this indecision candle here. And then, yeah, nice bearish day yesterday, gapping down. So let me make this the color I use, light blue, for the breakdown of a consolidation, 128.06. Put that there. And it is gapping to 120.24. So if it were to retest all the way back up to 128.6, it would give us a lot of room for a great reward risk ratio. I like it. Let's go back and check out some of these bullish gaps that they are deteriorating. I'm going to switch over to my broker on my other computer so that I can see a little bit more of the pre-market data. And GNC has been moving around a little bit, so that is a good sign. The fact that it is getting so close to that pivot is not good. Yeah, it's got pretty decent volume. It was all the way up to 2710 at one point, and 2710 is pretty significantly above the low of even this candle. It has been moving down. We'll see where it opens, but anything above the yellow line, which I've drawn at 2610, and I will be more bullish than bearish on GNC. SAVE is now expected to open at 39.40, which is below that level. SAVE, shift enter, that'll bring it up on my volume on SAVE. So I am going to move it down on my priority list, I think. Let's take a look at CRE. Now expected to open at 25, which is even clearing the top of this wick at 24.99. So that would be trapped than before. Let me pull it up on my broker to see how much pre-market activity there has been on CRE. Not very much, but it is clearing the pivots and it is moving up. So I am going to prioritize this one above save. Let's go check out THS. This one is now expected to open at 67. So this thing has just been kind of going the wrong way all morning. The low of this guy over here is 66.90. So the fact that it's above that, where's the open? The open was 67.20. So we're below the open. At this point, I'm kind of not that excited on THS, so I'm going to move that one down. Let's go check out DOC. Now expected to open at 1553, which is that area. Let's see. DOC. Bufredo says, when you have a chance, I would like to know your different color legend, what each of the colors mean. I'd be happy to do that, Fredo, and thank you for asking. DOC, let's see, the first very early market activity was down here at 1545, so way down below this, well, not way down, but below that pivot. The most recent activity has been up around 1564, so it is getting really close to the 100 simple moving average, but the key level here is tripping these buyers. If those are in fact buyers and not bearish traders that are buying to close, there's a good chance that this candle was bearish traders buying to close, but that much bullish action would likely be traders buying the bounce off of that 200 simple moving average. So again, any traders in through here will likely have their stop either below that candle or below that candle, maybe even snugly below that 100. But at any of those three situations, all of those traders' protective stops should trigger, causing sell orders to go through and pushing it down. I can watch two stocks, but not three. The whole market is gapping bearish, but the whole market may retest as well. So I think I'm going to be watching GNC and CREE straight out of the gate. So I'm going to switch over to a double pane view on that. And this will allow me to watch two stocks at once. Things may get a little crazy here in the morning, and I apologize. But things will be fast-paced. If there is an entry on these stocks, it will happen extremely quickly. Okay, for the color coding, the blue lines, the light blue lines, are a weak pivot, meaning it's had one bounce or a recent wick, or something that it's a level where I'd like to get a target by there, but it could very easily push through it. If you see a dark blue line, which I might draw at something like up here at 28.35, a dark blue line means that, hey, that's a pretty significant level. It hit there once, twice. We have an open on this candle, an upper there. That's rock solid resistance. If I'm in a trade and I'm approaching a blue line, I am very, very carefully considering exiting everything at the dark blue line. A dark orange line indicates a retest gap. A yellow line indicates a gap and go, and a green line indicates a perfect gap and go. I got a shout out here for GT. Let's check that one very quickly. Goodyear tire gap into 26.52. It is below that level. I like it. Great call out, Dean. This is a retest gap, so I'm going to make this one orange because orange is my, oops, what happened? 26.68. Orange is my color for retest gaps. Market's going to open here very quickly, so I'm going to go back to these two and we'll camp out and see what happens. I am going to have my broker on DOC, so I might be able to watch all three at the same time. The market has opened. CRE looks absolutely perfect. GNC open at 26.12 and is reacting nicely. So we'll switch both of these over to the 1 minute. DOC opened just above that pivot and is moving upwards. So I'll also watch that one carefully. Now this candle on GNC is 38 cents on a $26 stock, so that's a little bit too big for me to trade. This candle on CRE is trading down nicely. If I get a bullish indecision candle here, I will likely take a trade quickly here on CRE. That candle is it's about 2% of the price of the stock. So neither of these will I take a trade straight out of the gate. But I am going to put some lines up on the chart so that that part is taken care of. Again, any kind of indecision on either of these, and I will likely be placing a trade. So if GNC is going to pop like that, I may wait for a retest. CRE is retesting right now. So I may get something in, something like down in here. CRE is coming down. We'll just be watching. DOC has had a pretty nice move. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, we're about to start working on a third candle. Not going to place a trade on either of these. Let's take a look at DOC. That is indecision. That candle is 11 cents. I'm going to wait, but I don't hate the thought of entry at 1550 and a stop at 1563. GNC over there showing some life. Going the wrong way. CRE coming down very, very strongly. 2463 there, so 2462 would have to be the stop. And if I get a little indecision candle, something like that, I will take it. I'm not going to trade GNC. So in fact, I'm going to switch GNC back over to DOC. All of these things are getting hammered. That makes DOC even more attractive to me. Do not want it to take out 1562. And it did take out 1562. Let's see what save is doing. And I may be about done with the 1 minute entries. Save is actually fairly interesting. So these candles on Spirit Airlines are enormous for $30 for a $40 stock. These candles are 1% of the price of the stock. So what I would like Spirit Airlines to do is to push up through here and come back and make a higher low there or higher low there with one of those moving averages as support. But if it does not make a new high, to me that will look a whole lot like a lower high, which is not a bullish entry. Maria says she's sitting on her hands. Jason says, save, not worried about the EMAs on the daily. I will be worried about the daily EMAs a little bit later, Jason. Those will provide resistance, but for these early morning trades, I'm generally counting on people's stop orders to get triggered, and people's stop orders don't care about moving averages. So the 20 is providing support, the 50 will be providing resistance. Go ahead and draw that in. And I'll be honest, we're having a really good month. So in order to protect what we've had, I would love to look for any opportunity not to trade. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. Hey, this is a day trading floor. We should be looking for trades, and we are. But at the same time, definitely want to be careful and not give away what we have gained. Now, GNC is going to be pretty interesting because it's getting below that key level and is going to give a bounce signal. I will not take it. I wanted the bounce. And the reason I say that is that it's unlikely that these are protective stops that are going to cause this thing to bounce here if it bounces. Cree got cremated. Oh, that was good. That was a good one for me. I need some credit for that one. I don't ever come up with good jokes, and so that one I'm gonna take credit for. I'm gonna read that one for a while. Apple. Absolutely, we will take this thing bearish right here if we can get a good reward risk ratio. It looks like it's still trying to climb bearish. Excuse me, like it's trying to climb bullish, but it does not need to be going bullish from here. 95.25 would be the entry. I'm not going to get a 2-to-1 reward ratio by the low of the day, but I have every reason to believe that Apple's going to go bearish for the entire day. Folks, if you want Apple bearish, I mean, just look at that reward risk ratio. Reward risk ratio is insane. It already triggered. Did anyone get that one? Because I think this thing's going down the rest of the day. I'm not going to do a limit fill order. But yeah, I was 20 seconds from getting. Nolan did. Nice, buddy. 95.23. All right. You can take. Well, you can do whatever. You follow your trading plan for sure. If this were me, I might take 10% off at the low of the day. But if you want to not take any off at the low of the day, I would completely understand that. You're worried about the 95 level, 95 even? Is that, yeah, that is the low of the day. You can take some off at 95.01. Obviously, trade your plan. If your plan says to take a quarter off at the low of the day, do that. The open over here was at 94.87, so that's probably what I'd be looking at. I'd take some off at 94.88, but yeah, I think this thing's going to get beat up really badly today. NVAX also at a perfect level, consolidating nicely right there. I usually don't take retest gaps off of a 1 minute, but that's a pretty perfect opening right there. We'll just keep it on the list. Folks, my watch list is very, very long. There is no way I'll be able to take everything on the watch list. Some of these are about to come off pretty darn quickly. All right, DOC has done exactly what we thought it would do. It retested this 100 simple moving average perfectly. I'm waiting for this thing to take a breather, and then we'll get in. So 1542 would be the entry right now. Because this thing may go quickly, I'm going to put my broker's already on DOC. I'm going to go ahead and put it bearish, and I'm going to go ahead and enter a price at 1542. So now all I have to do is enter the number of shares, and I would be ready to submit an order on DOC. And I'm going to go ahead and put the stop at 1554. This is not an official trade, but that is a 12-cent risk. So I can go ahead and put in the number of shares. Call that 417. And then I'm going to click save, not submit, but save. And then this way, if I decide I do want to enter this order, I just have one button to push. Two things I want to happen. I want this next 1 minute candle to completely stay inside the trigger and the stop. And number two, I want this 10 moving average on the 1 minute chart to come down and act as resistance. And then I'll make that official. So this one is now my favorite. And in fact, 1 minute is not a long time to watch. We got a few more seconds, 15 more seconds. And I want that moving average down quite a bit, actually. Big volume on this bearish candle here, which is why I have the stop there. I would love a little bit of bullish action. I love the bullish volume coming in. So if it does go down, those folks will be trapped. If I were not up big already this month, I would make this thing official and active right now. So if you want to go ahead and submit that order, I think it's I think it's a very good order. And this is going to convince me. So let's see where this candle stops. If this candle turns bearish, I will go ahead and make that official. The list is long today, and the market's going to be very, very active. So we will miss some trades. So let's be sure that we get in on good quality trades and not be chasing things that we don't need to. Okay, so this thing will need to go up another penny to 15.55. That 10 moving average is looking nice. I do need to reduce my position size. We're going to give this thing a little bit more time. Make sure it's not going to wick us in and out. I'm probably only going to take one early morning order, so I want to be sure that this is the one that I want. There's a lot of traders trapped. Big bullish volume just came in, so if this thing does go bearish, it is likely to continue. Let's take a look at it on the 5 minute. Okay, not much new information there. On the daily, that does look good. This now needs to be 68. It's back to the 1 minute. And it looks like it did just shoot a wick down there. So this thing's ready to roll over. I'm going to make it official. DOC 15.42 by 15.55. This is a fairly high risk trade, so if you want to stay out, that'll be just fine. High risk trade. DOC 1542 by 1555. Looking at my broker, that is not an accurate wick on TradingView. It did not get all the way down to 1541. Okay, we need to adjust this trade, so I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to cancel my order, and let's cancel DOC. So cancel your trade. Let's restructure this. And remember, this strong lower wick here is not real, but it is now at 1556. Now we're looking at a 14-cent risk on a $15. So we would need at least 2-to-1 reward risk ratio. 14 cents times 2 is 28 cents. 28 cents minus 42 cents. Or excuse me, 1542 minus 28 puts me at what? 1514? And this thing is going to continue to climb. So I am very much in wait on this one. What time is it? 9:45. Not quite time to switch over to the 5-minute, but getting there. GNC not pumped up. Get it? Pumped up, GNC. Okay, Apple. Set a lower low, coming over, getting ready to roll. Do we want in on something like that on Apple? 5-minute chart is not convincing. We've missed that first break. The real strength of this first trade was having that pivot in there, that orange line that I've drawn. This trade that I've drawn here does not have a good reward risk ratio. If it wants to come up and retest this pivot one more time, I would do that. What do we have? 25? 40. If it wants to get back up in there, I would be very happy to take that trade. NVAX showing a double bottom, double top. But again, the reward risk ratio is not what we need to the low of the day. IBM climbing nicely, ready for a retest. Definitely looks pretty nice. Going to move IBM back up there. APA, oh gosh, that's gorgeous. So I love how APA touched the pivot point, made a lower low, and is now coming back up to retest. THS is above that pivot. So I'm not a fan of bearish gaps above pivots. RRC, again, beautiful retest. BAC, just now coming up to check out that, that pivot there. JKS, above the pivot. I'm not a fan of that. Amazon, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And PTEN also looks good. All right, I'm going to switch over to the 5-minute based on the time in the market, and let's kind of go over this again. DOC not showing what we need. GNC just in the wrong time zone. I'm about to take GNC off the list. You definitely go to the bottom. CREE, that is not acting like a gap and go. So again, I'm putting that to the bottom. Those will come off my list very soon. SAVE, breaking very, very nicely, is acting like a gap and go. And you can see these really big, fast moves as orders get, as it hits a new level, more stop orders get filled, and that's what pushes it up. So we could have considered something like that. Reward to risk ratio is okay. It turns out it would have worked out well, but not the setup that I usually look for the gorgeous gap and goes. Dean is not loving his idea on THS. Let's go take a look. Maybe we'll like it better than he does. On a 5-minute chart, yeah, if that 10 moving average wants to come down, I would like it. Let's go take a look at THS. The thing I don't like about THS is that it did not clear the pivot on the daily. So if everything else is so bearish and this thing can't even clear that lower pivot, it really is going to have to, yeah, it's going to have to be a lot nicer than that. KS also above the pivot, but at least that one is rolling bearish. And the rest of these have, in fact, cleared their pivots. Nolan says Apple is retesting. PTEN is also retesting. Where's Apple? That just looks so nice. I almost have to take that. I'm going to put something down. Guys, 95.10 by 95.36, if you can get in. No, we got room. 95.48. 95.10 by 95.48. Actually, I'm going to adjust that just a little bit. 95.08 by 95.48. 95.08 by 95.48. 95.08 by 95.48. If you can get in on Apple, that is the call. 95.08 by 95.48. And the reason I'm doing that is, again, we have that resistance. We have some moving averages. It has set a lower low. So hopefully some of you guys got in. I'm still typing in orders on my broker, so I doubt I'm going to be able to get this one. At this point, I'm going to attempt a limit fill. My broker's having finding Apple. Come on, it's kind of a popular stock. That is a 40-cent risk. So with a $50 R, I'm going to sell 125 shares. And it looks like it is going to give me time to get in. Maybe. Okay, so I am in on Apple. So let me go ahead and put in my stop order. And my stop order is going to be 95.48. All right, so because I got in later than you guys, I probably got a much better fill. So for the tracking purposes, I'm going to put the trigger here. This thing did set a lower low. Let's just go ahead and take some off at, let's go back and look at this daily. I'm tempted just to go halfway into that gap. What's the market doing today? Market is more bearish than bullish. So here's the 5-minute on the market. Definitely looks like it's going lower. Back to Apple. So 92 is the bottom of the gap. 95.36 is the top of that gap. We have a 40-cent risk. So if even we go, all right, let's take some off at 2R. 94.28. Let's just take 25% there. So I think if we get there, things hit it lower. So let's take some off at 94.28, and then we will look for moving things forward. All right, so I'm typing in the Group Me application, which again goes to all of our subscribers. That I will take 25% of my position at 94.28. Dean says hurry. Okay, let's go check out Dean's trade. What ticker are you on, Dean? Dean's got a beautiful one on Goodyear Tire. That was a 1-minute chart, correct? Oh, where did Goodyear Tire go? Okay, for me that's above the pivot, so I'm not going to take it. Yeah, I wanted Goodyear Tire to open below that pivot. So I agree, Dean, that is an incredibly bearish signal, especially on the 1 minute. Looks good. It did punch through the pivot one time. The whole market is bearish. It is making lower highs. So a lot of things saying that this thing could, that is very likely to go lower. So if you got in on that, I think that's a good trade, but it does not meet my trading plan, so I've got to wait. Thanks for sharing your trade, though. All right, I got to get my target in on Apple because it is going to hit that level very, very soon. I only got 125 shares. What did I say, 5%? So what is that, 31 shares? So I'm going to do a buy limit. 31 shares at 94.28. Sorry, I'm looking at my broker, and they have the high of the day is actually a little bit higher than TradingView does, but that's okay because I'm about to lower the stop anyway. This is a fairly risky trade. It's early in the morning. The 10 moving average is in our favor. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Dean, did you take Goodyear Tire? And good morning, Victor. Thanks for being here. All day. All right, buddy. Good for you. You got to trade your plan. Don't necessarily trade my plan. Plus, if I have to rush over and look at something, I am less likely to trade it rather than if I'd been stalking it for a while, or watched it and then set up a plan. But let's hope GT breaks bearish for Dean. NVAX was looking nice, but doesn't really appear to have given us any signal on IBM. Is IBM below the pivot? IBM is below the pivot. There is that 10 moving average. Reward risk ratio is going to be close. It is not a humongous gap. The entry would be 121.17. Please don't go too soon. 121.17. That'll be a trigger. And the stop be 123.21. And that does not give me a good enough reward risk ratio. But I do like that shape on IBM. Let's keep going. APA. May have looked better on the 1 minute than it does on the 5 minute. Amazon. Wow. RRC. Again, did not really give us that great of an entry signal. BAC. Again, didn't really give us that great of an entry signal. PTEN also did not give us that great of an entry signal. JKS is above the pivot, not going to trade it there. THS is strongly above the pivot, not going to trade it there. GNC and CREE just going whack-o-matic. That's a technical term. Don't know what it means, but okay, not a technical term. So Nolan, you got to be up like 3 or 4 R, right? You're probably up 2 R, right? Yesterday only got 3 R. Nice. All right, I'm writing a note on the GroupMe app. Congrats, Nolan and Olson, who got in on Apple on the first double top on the 1 minute today on the pivot with the EMAs acting as resistance. And thanks for the heads up on when it was retesting the second time. Nice, Nolan. Thank you, sir. Got in again. All right, let's check out IM one more time. What I think I need IBM to do is to come down just a tiny bit and go back up and then come back and retest. Then I can try to do something like an entry there with the stop there, kind of like Apple did actually. But as it is right now, I can't make this official on IBM. Apple actually just hit our first target, and I did get filled. I'm tempted to shoot for 92.01. Tell you what, let's take one at 93.02. Let's try this again. Target, please. We'll take off, let's see, we got 75% left. You know, for right now, at the rate this thing is going, let's go for it. Let's swing for it. And if it wants to go quickly, take 25% again down here at 92.02. Okay, so we also need to lower the stop some. I should lower this to break even, but I don't want to get below that 10 moving average. The high of this candle is 93.35. That pivots at 93.36. Let's move the stop to 93.37. So buy stop for the rest of my shares. Uh-oh, what happened there? Sorry, I'm entering this order on my broker, so that's why some craziness happened that you didn't see. All good though. So that is 95.37. Actually, let me type this in the chat pane first. Moving stop on Apple to 95.37 after target 1 was hit. Next target will be 93.02 for 25% of the shares as long as it moves quickly. If it slows down, we will readjust targets. All right, let me share this with folks. Let me take care of my own positions, and then we'll take a look at CVX. Timmy, if you got something that's about to fill there on CVX, go ahead and give me the trade setup, the numbers that you're looking at. I know this morning's pretty frantic. Wow, it's only been about 30 minutes. Get this order in. Here we go, Apple limit. I always like to have a target. Definitely want to have a stop in at all times, but I like having a target in just in case there are some crazy wicks. And we saw a few of those crazy wicks yesterday. So buy stop at 95.37, buy limit at 93.02. That looks good. Please show me the transmit button. Come on. All right, so that order is in. All right, we'll go take a look at CVX. Maybe we'll get something else on it. I do see the low of the day break there. Probably would not have taken that. Big move day. I love how it's rested or even moved up. 79.69 is this pivot. So now that this thing has broken that, I would love for it to come back up and retest it. And let's see, on the 5-minute, yeah, love this one. Ready for it to come up and retest. And for those of you that are watching the video, thanks for watching it. You can check out what Apple did on January the 20th, 2016 to see how we finished the position. But thanks for watching this video. Trade on logic, not on hope. Oh wait, let me show you this. If you want to sign up to join us in the trading room, come over here to reallifetrading.com. Click on these live trading rooms, and then down here you can join us and day trade with us. Thank you so much again for watching the video. Trade on logic, not on hope, and have a good one.